Next up, we have John Fisher, who is a senior conservation scientist from TNC's Center for Sustainability Science. And will be speaking on scaling sustainable agriculture, Walmart style.
At the turn of the 20th century, my great-grandfather headed to Foley, Missouri, armed with nothing but a handful of books from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. He learned how to farm on the fly, and there was nothing easy about it. I think of him when I visit farms from Kenya to California. More than a third of the land on Earth is already used to produce food, yet many farmers are struggling. Farms and ranches have been both spreading and intensifying for a very long time, and demand is about to explode. Even though we already produce more food than we need, people are still starving. And to feed the world in 2050, we will need to produce about 40% more food. That's because the population is increasing, and diets continue to shift towards more animal products. But there's a twist that I'm sure my great-grandfather would understand. Farming gets harder every year. Soil is being degraded. Fresh water is in short supply. And climate extremes like drought and flooding have a huge impact. If our current farms can't meet this coming demand, we would have to clear a swath of new farms and ranches larger than South America. So to be sustainable, we need our farms to survive and to keep producing food, while also protecting the environment that we rely on to sustain us all. If we were talking about Silicon Valley, instead of places like California's Central Valley, we would be focused on bringing a solution to scale. As a conservation scientist, I want to make sure those solutions work for the environment as well as our food supply. But what if we could do both? What if we could scale sustainable farming? To find out, I'm working with some partners that might surprise you. Big food companies. That's because farmers are often more likely to take requests from a buyer or advice from a fertilizer dealer than to listen to environmentalists like me. Farmers hear from these companies often, and that gives them real leverage and influence. We also share many critical goals, like improving crop yields and better food security, even if we don't always agree on how to get there. Take Walmart, for example. I'm using science to help America's largest grocer set the right targets for its sustainability practices and environmental outcomes. I recently led a team from the Nature Conservancy in conducting an assessment for Walmart, focused on identifying the biggest opportunities to improve the sustainability of beef production. Building on that work, we're now working with Walmart to update their sourcing criteria for animal protein more broadly. That means giving its buyers guidance on what to look for, identifying promising new strategies for Walmart to pilot test, and making sure that we're providing similar input to other groups and companies working on the same issues. In the end, we hope to meet massive Walmart-scale demand using scientific, sustainable practices that work for consumers, farmers, and the companies in between. I never did get to visit my family's farm. Before I was born, my great-grandparents died, and we started renting out the farm. Eventually, we sold it. It was financially sustainable for 74 years, but not forever. I'm pretty sure the idea of supplying something as big as Walmart would have boggled my great-grandfather's mind. But I think we have the right mix right now to scale sustainability. Science has given us better, smarter ways to grow food. And there's a lot of creative, hardworking farmers out there. They get the concept of sustainability, and they know that they need to be good stewards of the land and water to stay in business. And these companies have the distribution channels, buying criteria, and other levers to help us make that transformation. In the end, if we all work together, we just may be able to help farms around the world be not only productive, but sustainable at scale.